Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a massive, everyday headache for homeowners across Illinois, figuring out the right system to battle hard water. Look, whether you're up in the North Shore or out in the northwest suburbs, you've definitely experienced the absolute frustration of hard water. So today, we're going to break down the science and, more importantly, the solutions to help you actually fix it.
Let's just start with the reality here. Are you absolutely tired of scrubbing that stubborn white scale off your shower head? Because honestly, we've all been there, and it is just exhausting. You know the drill. Those persistent white scale rings in your kettles, that chalky buildup on your faucets, and that feeling like your soap just kind of isn't lathering right. Well, today we are solving exactly those pain points by putting the two main heavyweights of the water treatment world head to head.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the hard water problem, explain traditional softeners, and see how salt-free conditioners compare. Then, we'll help you choose your best match and wrap up with some concrete next steps.
All right, part one, the hard water problem.
Let's look at the symptoms. Thanks to our region's ancient limestone bedrock, Illinois water is just packed with calcium and magnesium. And what does that do? Well, it leaves scale on your fixtures and absolutely kills your soap's lather. But here's the real kicker. These minerals cause serious buildup deep inside your water heaters and plumbing systems. Over time, that buildup literally shortens the life of your appliances and ruins your plumbing performance. So yeah, a home water treatment system isn't just some fancy luxury. It's absolutely crucial for protecting your home's value.
Moving right along to part two, traditional softeners explained.
Okay, to understand a traditional softener, we've got to talk about the science of ion exchange. Now, think of this system like a really tough bouncer at the door of an exclusive club. This bouncer physically grabs the calcium and magnesium, those troublesome hardness minerals, and literally kicks them right out of the water before they can even get into your plumbing. And in their place, the system swaps in a little bit of sodium or another approved ion. Since the hardness minerals are completely gone, there's absolutely no way they can cause trouble in your pipes.
Now, when we look at the day-to-day reality of traditional softeners, there are some clear pros and cons. Since they physically remove the minerals, they're highly reliable for stopping line scale dead in its tracks. It makes cleaning so much easier. But, and it's a big but, this high performance comes at a cost, and that cost is maintenance. These systems require periodic regeneration, so you've got to be willing to do the ongoing chore of replenishing the salt or brine to keep that bouncer doing its job.
All right, let's look at the other side of the coin. Part three, how salt-free conditioners work.
Now, the mechanism here is just fascinating. It's called template-assisted crystallization, or TAC for short. If the traditional softener was our club bouncer, the salt-free conditioner is more like a hypnotist. It doesn't actually remove the calcium and magnesium at all. Instead, it alters their behavior. It changes the physical state of the minerals while they're still in the water, essentially tricking them so they lose their ability to stick to surfaces. The minerals are totally still there. They just aren't forming that annoying scale.
So, what's the reality of living with a salt-free conditioner? Well, the appeal is massive, especially if you're looking for an easy life. You aren't removing minerals, which means you aren't lugging around heavy bags of salt or brine. That translates to way lower day-to-day maintenance. But we do have to call out the trade-off here. Because the minerals aren't actually removed, the performance can kind of vary. If your home has extremely hard water, you might find that this whole hypnotist routine doesn't work quite as consistently as just physically removing the minerals like a traditional softener would. And this perfectly illustrates the fundamental difference in their fighting styles. On one hand, the traditional softener gives you absolute mineral removal, it uses salt, and it requires high maintenance. On the other hand, the salt-free conditioner just alters the mineral behavior, uses zero salt, and needs very low maintenance. Basically, one removes the problem with higher effort, while the other alters the problem with lower effort.
Okay, let's get practical. Part 4. Choosing your best match. Looking at this breakdown, you'll see pretty quickly that neither system is universally the best. Actually, scratch that. The winner depends entirely on your specific house. If you've got very hard water, or, say, appliance sensitivity, like an older water heater that already has a heavy scale history, the traditional softener is your best bet for dependable scale prevention. But if your hardness is moderate and you strictly want low maintenance with zero salt bags to carry, the salt-free conditioner easily takes the win. Oh, and notice that bottom row too. If anyone in your home has dietary restrictions regarding sodium exposure from drinking water, the salt-free system is for sure the way to go.
So where do we go from here? Part 5. Next steps for homeowners.
Here's the bottom line. You have to stop guessing. Water hardness can vary so wildly across Illinois, literally even between neighboring towns. Step 1 is always to test your water. Get your exact grains per gallon or parts per million. Step 2, talk to a qualified installer to get expert sizing based on how much water your specific household actually uses. And Step 3, confirm if you need any additional filtration. You might have sediment or iron issues that a softener alone just won't touch. Get that objective baseline first and you'll save yourself a lot of headaches later.
I actually want to read this quote from our source material directly because it just nails it. The best choice is typically the one that aligns with your measured water hardness, how visible the scaling is, and your tolerance for maintenance requirements. See? It really all boils down to those 3 pillars: the actual data, the visible problem in your home, and of course, your lifestyle.
So, you've seen the symptoms, you understand the science, and you know the solutions. Now I'm throwing it over to you. What is your water chemistry actually telling you? Don't wait until your water heater gives out. Get a water test. Find out your true hardness level and take control of your home's plumbing today.